Well, Happy New Year. And everybody's burning question for the new year is when are we going to get that FTX money? So, I'm going to give a recap of where we're at and then get into our current step here. So, at this point, hopefully all these checks are green for you, that you've completed your KYC, that you've submitted your proof of claim, and that you've submitted your tax distribution. If any of these are not green for you, jump in, see if you can do that. There is a document that FTX has released that has some more answers on different steps that I will get into after we look at this. Voting on step 6, that may not be green for you. That was an optional voting that was done last year. So if that's still a blue little circle for you, that's fine. That was an optional step. I did not complete it either. So now we're on step 8. Maybe you've completed this already and made a choice. That's great. I don't think you went wrong if you decided on either one of them. And but here, step 8, we have the options to choose between BitGo and Kraken as our distribution service provider. At the end of the day, you need to make a decision based upon your research. I'm leaning towards Kraken just because it seems like a easier to set up platform. My primary goal is to receive the refund and move it into my bank account. I'm not trying to move it into one of these accounts and then buy crypto on one of these accounts, right? So if that's your choice, if you're going to reinvest it into crypto on one of these platforms, then you can go to both of their websites, bitgo.com here and kraken.com here, and get more information on those two platforms from their websites. You should be looking into that yourself. As far as if you're just trying to transfer your money, note that BitGo does charge a dollar ACH transfer fee if you use them. That's not a big amount of money, but if you have a small claim and maybe you're going to make multiple ACH transfers for some reason, consider that fee. Kraken does not have a fee for an ACH transfer. However, they do have other fees for other types of transfers, as well as just trading on their platform. So the other thing to consider too is the areas that they support. Kraken has less supported states, just by a few. BitGo supports most of the states except for New York State, and it does seem like New York State on both of these is something not currently supported. They state that they are working to provide an additional distribution for the areas that are not supported. So different countries, if you select a different country here, this could change this option. I'm just focused on the United States, but there are certain states don't have distribution providers yet. Certain states or certain countries are limited in their distributions. So make that selection of your state here, see what options you get. If you have no option, we'll look at that in the next step. So that choice may be made for you. If you are in one of these states, you may have to go with whatever option is available. Like I said, personally, I think I'm going to go with Kraken. I've heard of them before. I'm sure there's good and bad about both of these companies. So I'm not convincing you to go that way. Just saying that's the choice I'm leaning towards. They seem like a user-friendly experience. That does not mean that they are the better company. BitGo actually may be, because you look at them, they are a globally regulated custodian, which means they have higher regulation and stability over the crypto they hold. Whereas Kraken is more of a cryptocurrency exchange, more like what FTX was, right? Now, at the end of the day, like I said, my goal is to receive the funds through one of these distribution providers and then move those funds into a bank account. The question can be, is there going to be issues where they're going to hold the funds? They should not be doing that. They're going to be receiving these funds from FTX. They're going to be well aware that a lot of people are withdrawing those funds. So that's those two platforms there. That's my decision there that I will be going through and configuring that step. And I'll make another video if there are any pitfalls, but it's pretty clear on you're going to click continue here and you'll agree to these terms and conditions, which you should read through. The biggest thing, it's stating that you are entering an agreement with Kraken. The FTX is going to be working with that provider. There are statements on you are forfeiting your right to receive a cash distribution. That seems scary, but what that to me means is that you are agreeing to have your money transferred through Kraken. That FTX is not no FTX no longer owes you some a manual check. They're going to give you your money through Kraken. Right, and so you'd agree that you click here, you'd register your account with Kraken. If you already have an account with either of these two companies, then use that account because you can just link it up in here. So that is that. So here is the article that you can read on FTX. I will put this link in the description below so you can go through and read it. It's a nice little FAQ that they released just 3 days ago on the distribution providers. That's going to give you a lot more information. You can read through, find any questions that are of interest to you, and it really summarizes and just kind of answers the questions that you might have on different fees, the differences of the two accounts, what to do if you already have an account, if you have issues with it. If you look down here, then towards the bottom, there are cutoff dates. So these are maybe some of the first solid dates that we've had. So January 3rd was the date to be recognized as a holder in a claim. This does not mean you had to have your distribution selected. I haven't selected mine yet either, but this means that you did need to be through the KYC, that your claim needed to be in by January 3rd in order to be a part of this first round of payments. It does not seem to state that if you have not submitted it yet, that you can't still do that. It just says you will not be in the first round of pre-distribution requirements. So I get a lot of questions of, hey, I haven't submitted it yet, my KYC is not checked yet. Reach out to them at support@ftx.com. Make sure you get that your claim in. Make sure that green check mark there. Make sure your KYC is done. If it's not done at this point, you will not be receiving these first round of distributions. But it does seem like they are obligated to still continue to pay out those claims. I don't know 100% on that, but just make sure you get your steps done up through step 8 to make sure that you have that distribution providing partner and that you have all these steps in place here. January 20th is what we have until we can select that distribution service partner. So if you do not make that choice by January 20th, you will also not be in the first round of distributions. Which then asks the big question of when will we get paid? Well, it seems like if they're wanting all these, that step completed by January 20th, that it's not going to be before January 20th. But they do state here that they have 90 days, maybe it was further up. It says they have, 60 days to make their distributions from that January 3rd date. So that would seem to say that we should see funds anywhere from earliest end of January into end of February, or that very first few days in March. My bet would be we'll probably see it sometime in February if you've met all the criteria here and completed all the steps in the FTX portal to ensure you get those payments through. Now, like I said, there is a waiver in that disclaimer, if you read it, that you waive a cash distribution. So I would imagine there is, after these initial distributions are done, for example, a country or a state that's not supported by these crypto exchanges that FTX is using to make their payouts, my guess would be that FTX can still issue manual payments. They're trying not to have to do that for every single holder because that would be a huge overhead. So that would be my guess, is maybe towards the end in a final distribution, they may then work on more manual distributions. If you're wanting your money, I mean, personally, I would not be waiting for that, which is why I'm going to be fine signing up with one of these distributors versus hoping that if I do nothing, I'll eventually get a check, because that just seems dumb. So I'm going to sign up for what they're telling you to sign up for to get those distributions. There's more information in here, and there's been more information before. If you have a claim over $50,000, that some of those claims, I believe, are delayed and that they will be made not part of this first distribution. If you have that larger amount, yeah, you should be doing more research than what I'm giving you here, because that's a decent amount of money, and there's more articles and resources out there read through the FTX support articles. Make sure you're up to date on that if you have that large amount of money. If you're like me and you just have a couple $1,000s and it's a smaller amount of money and you're looking just to be done with this part of your life, this is where I'm at. So you're at the point of, hey, pick one of the distribution providers, get registered with that, and hope we get our payouts shortly after January 20th. Once you complete this distribution here, I can make another video on what the dashboard should look like and if anything happens with step 9. So, bit longer of a video. Hopefully that is helpful. Like I said, I will link this in the description. I think if you read through this, that will help. If you don't like reading through this, just copy and paste all this text into ChatGPT or something, and it will give you a nice little summary. I've done that with parts of this just to kind of get it read to me in a different way. So thank you for watching. Happy New Year, everybody, and hopefully we will receive our payouts in the next couple months here. We'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.